yeah, hold on. Now we are. That
Oh
was
my
great.
God.
That was an excellent test of the emergency broadcast
Way to go,
system.
everybody.
Way to
This
go.
was IRC, are you paying attention?
That was a great show,
That was
everyone.
an excellent test of the IRC.
episode yet.
Attention.
Well, I gotta go
Alright.
make some spaghetti, so
Yeah,
I'll...
we're all done. We're out. Now, before we start again, could you actually hear the Patreon intro or not at all?
Yes, I could hear. Yeah,
You
yeah.
did? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so let's. All right, now I'm rolling. We're live. That was awesome. Let's go again.
Okay.
All right, let's clear
So
the
is this
shot.
what they're seeing live?
Yeah.
Okay.
And in 3, 2, 1, here comes Toby Pinder.
The Daily Tech News Show is entirely supported and funded by voluntary contribution from listeners like you. If you want
Nope,
to
you
chip
guys
in
are talking
and
through the
support
Patreon.
Yeah,
intro.
that's
Wait.
Paul.
Sorry about that.
Guys, all right. So really, for real now, we are live in 3. All right, is everybody got it all out?
Everyone shut up.
There
All
you
right,
go.
we're good.
All right, here comes Toby Pinder in 3, 2, 1.
The Daily Tech News Show is entirely supported and funded by voluntary contributions from listeners like you. If you want to chip in and support your daily source of tech, visit patreon.com/acedetect.
This is the Daily Tech News Show for Friday, September 12th, 2014, the Hack 5 Takeover Edition. And of course, being that it is Liquid Friday, we are super excited to have with us Shannon Morse.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hack 5 Takeover.
And you know what? It wouldn't be Friday without Len Peralta.
Yay!
And spaghetti
Len.
night. Oh, hi. Hey, Shannon.
Yes,
Hey, Darren.
we are
Good to
having
see you.
spaghetti at Len's house
Yes.
tonight.
Everybody, come on by. There's plenty for everybody.
Well, thanks for coming by to illustrate the stories, and let's just go ahead and start them off with the headlines. And guess what? Recode reports that iPhone 6 pre-orders went live last night, and a lot of people bought new phones. In fact, so many people bought Apple's website actually had trouble keeping track, and in fact, the other companies, Apple and all of the phone companies, have kind of pretty much already sold out of their pre-orders. An AT&T spokesperson said that demand for the new iPhone is higher than they've seen in the past 2 years. So is this any surprise to you?
Not really. And the entire DTNS subreddit wants you to know that in 2008, the United States government threatened Yahoo with a $250,000 a day fine, forcing the company to hand over large amounts of user data. The Washington Post reports that 1,500 pages of the unsealed court documents from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court of Review revealed a secret and eventually unsuccessful lawsuit by Yahoo. The company was eventually forced to become one of the first to participate in the U.S. NSA's controversial PRISM program. Eventually, most major U.S. tech companies, including Google, Facebook, Apple, and AOL, also agreed to participate. Ew.
Yeah. PC Mag reports that SanDisk has released a SD card that can store, get this, 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, the card was made for people who will be filming in new higher resolution HD film formats, and it's temperature proof and waterproof and shock proof and X-ray proof, and oh yeah, that's right, it costs $800. But as long as you don't lose it, you should be okay. Just remember to label your cards, because we've all been there.
Can you get insurance for your SD card?
I don't know. Perhaps. Perhaps.
Reuters reports that T-Mobile US added 552,000 postpaid customers in August, more customer additions than any other month in the history of the company. Wow. CEO John Legere told investors that the wave of new subscribers was partly due to a promotion that allows customers to add 4 lines for $100 a month. The company also added 208,000 prepaid customers in August. They're about to lose me.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I still heart them. The Los Angeles Times reports that the Curiosity rover has reached Mount Sharp after a 25-month journey of the surface of Mars, and the rover will begin to climb the lower portion of the 3-mile high mountain and will eventually start drilling deep into the planet's geological record. I'm so excited about this, looking for evidence that life might have existed once before on the red planet.
I know it did.
Yes, it will
It's
be
true.
triumphant. Super excited.
And if you dream of a world where it's possible to buy a subscription to HBO Go without having to get cable or satellite service or mooching your parents' password, hear this. Gizmodo reports that Time Warner CEO Jeff Books told a room full of investment bankers that HBO is seriously considering allowing users to purchase a standalone subscription without buying a cable provider for all the other TVs.
Sign me up. Also, The Verge reports that efforts to bring drones to the oceans are now underway. In fact, we're not talking about the airplane and flying quadcopter-y variety. We're talking about the nautical trade fair in Hamburg, where a ship research firm unveiled a new electric concept vessel called the Revolt, which would ferry cargo containers between ports without human crew. The Revolt would carry up to 100 shipping containers at 6 knots. It's actually kind of fast, kind of awesome too, because safety of life at sea, that SOLAS stuff, not so much when they're robots.
And the best way to waste time in an office is under attack by robots. Ars Technica reports that Japan's Fuji Xerox company spent its summer testing a prototype of an autonomous roaming printer robot. The robot uses laser light remote sensing to deliver a color laser printer to your location, so you can be super lazy. That's right, no more leisurely walks to the printer by way of your friend's cubicle, by way of the kitchen. That printer is coming to you. Before you bemoan the loss of all good things, remember that this also means that no one will accidentally grab the printout of your disastrous second quarter performance reviews. Fuji has not announced plans to actually release the roaming printer into the wild, unfortunately, but that's what they said about those dinosaurs in Jurassic Park as well, and look how that turned out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I want a robot that brings the fax machine to me. I mean, if we're gonna have it do something useless like I'm sorry. I hate paper. I can't help it.
I do too.
All right, and now it's time for news from you. And Captain Kipper passes along an Engadget report that the European Union Court says it's okay for libraries to digitize books and distribute them to reading terminals without first asking permission from the publishers. Now, the law still prevents the digitized copies from being stored on a USB key and printed out by the users, but actually what's really interesting about this is the onus is then on the user and not necessarily the library as far as copyright violations if somebody does happen to put them on a USB key. So we'll see how that shakes up in court.
And also from Captain Kipper, also submitted the Verge report that the U.S. military is trying to develop a flexible robotic exoskeleton to make soldiers stronger and safer without weighing them down. DARPA recently issued a $2.9 million contract to Harvard researchers to build what they're calling the soft exosuit. The suit fits around a wearer's waist and legs, and it's made of textiles woven into the straps containing microprocessors, sensors, and a power supply. Additional motors are also located in a strap that goes around the wearer's waist. Researchers already have several working prototypes, which could eventually also be used to help people with mobility issues and paralysis to move again.
Would you wear one of these? This looks pretty wicked.
I kind of want to.
Exoskeletons for the
That
win.
would be cool.
And I'm going to butcher this. SPS Harridan sends us an IFL science report that scientists at Princeton, oh my god, this is so amazing, scientists at Princeton have been able to lock individual light photons together to what they have believed to be like a solid object. Think about that for a moment. Light locking together to be a solid object. The researchers constructed an artificial atom and then brought this close together to a superconducting wire carrying photons, and due to the bizarre rules of quantum universe and the atoms and the photons becoming entangled, just like the light photons, so the light photons actually started to behave like atoms. It's so kind of crazy. I'm thinking, like holodeck here. This is ridiculously awesome. And researchers have said that, quote, in one mode of operation, light sloshes back and forth like a liquid, and then in the other it freezes. Now the team hopes to use the solid light to, this just sounds weird to say, the solid light to simulate subatomic behavior, which is really difficult to observe.
Oh, so cool. I want more of these.
Yes.
Amazing.
I want light you can hold in your hand.
Now, of course, if you are on the go but you still want to listen to DTNS live, check out the mobile version of Alpha Geek Radio over at mobile.alphageekradio.com. Definitely check it out.
Now it's time for the discussion, and there is quite a bit to discuss. If you are, in fact, a Gmail user, you might be worried, as lately there have been a lot of talk about the 5 million Gmail usernames and passwords that went online publicly that were doxed or revealed, or however you want to describe the leak.
They were put on the internets for everybody to see.
And Google's spam and abuse team took to the blog saying that, quote, less than 2% of the usernames and password combinations might have worked. So you do the math, that's only, it's only a leak of about 100,000 accounts that somebody could get into.
I did have one friend who mentioned that his old password from like 3 years ago was available in that list, but luckily he had already changed it. So he wasn't one of the 2%.
Yeah, and I wonder what percentage of those users haven't changed their passwords in 3 years. Now, Google has said that the leaked usernames and passwords were not the result of a breach of Google's own security systems, so that's good. Google advised users to go ahead and, first of all, upgrade your passwords. If you haven't already, start using like a 40-character password, and that means if your password is only 10 characters right now, just type it in 4 times. Also, enable two-factor authentication.
Yes.
Friends don't let friends run without two-factor auth.
Yes, and there's even a website online that enables you to look up what services are available via bank, insurance companies, email, social networks, all those. You can look through it and make sure that whatever you're signing up for does have two-factor authentication available.
So not just Google?
Yeah, not just Google, but I'm saying like sign up for two-factor authentication everywhere and use those different passwords on every single site.
And that's a great point, because then you can vote with your wallet and only support companies that support two-factor, which is the way to go. Also, make sure that Google advises making sure that you've updated your recovery info, like your phone number and your secondary email. Now, affected users will be prompted to change their passwords, but what's interesting about this is a Mashable story reports that you may not actually want to. There's a couple of websites where you can test your email to see if it was part of this leak, and the Mashable story points out that you may not want to trust those unvetted sites with, in fact, your Gmail username. IT professional.
I might have put my email in there, but everybody knows my email, so I was like, I don't care. Right. Everybody already knows it.
Well, this was pointed out by IT professional James Watt, who questioned whether this practice is really a good idea.
It's not.
And considering that it was a much linked to site, the website is isleaked.com, and you can go ahead and type your Gmail username in there and see if it was part of this leak. There are many other similar sites out on the web. I know Troy Hunt runs one as well. Have I been pwned?
Yeah.
Or owned, depending on how you pronounce that. pwned.com is a way to check if you are one of the hundreds of leaks, and with the major big ones like the Adobe and things of that nature. And I would say, and for me, I trust Troy. Troy Hunt's a good guy, but who is this IsLeaked? Because it was pointed out that isleaked.com was actually registered 2 days before the Gmail addresses were leaked. So if you want to go all tinfoil hat mode, the first thing you're going to think is like, what if the scam is actually to come up with, like a bot-generated list of bogus Gmail names, and then create a site for which people can go and check and make sure their email isn't on that list, and then harvest real email addresses. Except that would be crazy pants.
That sounds like a phishing scheme to me.
Right. In actuality, the site was created after a similar leak happened with Russian mail providers. Now, if you're really into the fun, cool, privacy-focused security of this, Reddit user Skeeto wrote a pretty cool privacy-focused Gmail leak tester using what's called a Bloom filter. And essentially what it does is it lets you check your email address in your browser without sending it off to a third party in a way that actually doesn't even perpetuate the leaked database, though there is a 4% chance of a false positive. The code is up on GitHub. I think ultimately, though, it's just a good idea to keep changing your passwords frequently and not reuse them in multiple places.
Surprisingly, this I know that the Gmail hack also spurred a whole bunch of different government agencies to actually ban the use of Gmail. Why they were using Gmail in the first place kind of astounds me, but I
don't think this report suggests that they were using, but perhaps
I hope
says
not.
Do not use. We know that a lot of politicians have both their, government email and then also their personal email, and maybe use them interchangeably.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were quite a few that ended up just saying straight out banning the use of it in other popular services as well, like Yahoo's email, Microsoft's email, things like that, as opposed to using their own in-house email instead.
Right. In particular, Press Trust of India reports that on a proposal for the Department of Electronics and Information Technology to require government communication in India to use the nation's secure infrastructure, which is known as the National Informatics Center. There's a bunch of these for different government agencies, and so yes, I think that would apply. Maybe Gmail isn't your best bet, but I don't know. I think Google would argue that Google Apps for your domain is actually kind of awesome.
So are you going to move away from Gmail now?
No.
I'm not either.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
I use two-factor, so I'm not too worried about it. Even if my password did end up getting breached in any way, it would still be secure because you would have to have that second authentication module. And I don't use the same password on all the different websites, so.
Good advice.
So there's that.
Yes.
There's also a bunch of information running around about Apple Pay. So Apple Pay is this new service that Apple just announced on Tuesday. It's supposed to let you pay with your cell phone, with your iPhone 6 or 6 Plus, right at a little module at a merchant, at a physical merchant. So you would just walk up, basically scan your phone and then walk away and you would be paid up. So they're using this thing called tokenization. Instead of transferring your credit card details over to the merchant, they're actually sending over a hash, this token of your credit card information. So they're taking the credit card number and they're like jumbling it up into a big hashed letters, numbers, symbols probably, and they're sending that information over to the merchant instead. So whenever you actually type in your credit card into Passbook on iOS, it's going to be stored on this nice little encryption chip on the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. They'll also have one available for the Apple Watch, I believe, and that one will let you use this as well with the iPhone 5, 5C, and the 5S. Might even be the 4. I'll have to check on that. But it's called the Secure Element. So you could think of this as being like a TPM chip, for example. The token could then be set to expire after a purchase, so every time you go to a different merchant or you make multiple transactions like I do when I go couponing, it would use a different token every single time that you check out, which can definitely help with security. However, a lot of nice merchants say that they never store credit card info. You know that a lot of them probably do, given that there's been a lot of hacks lately from a lot of different merchants.
Well, this is really interesting. I feel like it has a lot of effects to actually create a lot of positive change in the payments industry right now. We've seen in recent examples with massive data breaches from the likes of Target and Home Depot. And so this will be a very, I find this a very welcoming technology. It's great to see Apple embracing near-field communications. It's going to have some interesting effects on PCI compliances, which is really something that consumers don't think about, but merchants do.
Yeah.
Because merchants get different rates from their payment processors based on the way that they actually conduct those transactions. So, for example, for a merchant to process a credit card transactions where they punch in the digits manually, it would be more expensive.
It's going to be more expensive to run that transaction as opposed to just swiping the card, because swiping is more secure than accidentally typing it in and getting something wrong, or typing it in and having like a keylogger on top of it or something like that.
Right, and based on what we've seen thus far coming out of Apple Pay, it seems like it would be then more secure than just swiping a single card. As we've talked about before, credit cards, they're symmetric keys. I mean, there's the 16 digits on the front, and then the 4-digit expiration, and then the 3 digits, on the back. Those aren't raised. But essentially, we're talking about 28 digits between you and your money.
Right.
So you can kind of think about that as the difference between, say, passwords, right, or credit cards, and two-factor authentication is, systems like Google Wallet and Apple Pay, and hopefully we get to see these being embraced. The way I feel is that MasterCard and the Visas and the giant financial institutions of the world, they've had their chance to innovate. They haven't.
They really haven't. Yes, they do have the, that chip that's available in a lot of European countries that runs with Visa, MasterCard, and I believe Discover and American Express as well. And it's a nice little chip inside of the card that you basically just scan instead of swiping, because the swipe is so insecure.
That's chip and pin, which is great for brick and mortar transactions because you both use something you have, which is the credit card, and something you know, which is the pin.
Yeah.
Doesn't translate as well though for online payments, and this is where Apple may in fact have the opportunity to take the lead, as purchasing over mobile would get so much easier.
Interesting.
Yes. And in theory, this could be a lot. I just the hacker side of me though wants to see.
I want to see it get hacked.
I want to see. Well, I want to see the white paper on it. I want to see the actual data on
study.
this. And well, that's the thing is I feel like protocols are only more secure when they're transparent and open.
Yes.
And so then they can be audited. And knowing Apple though, they keep things pretty tight to their vest. So I wouldn't expect us to see that anytime soon, which is going to be an awesome playground for security researchers and hackers alike.
We're probably still going to see some kind of vulnerabilities like we have seen in apps in the past and we have seen in credit cards in the past. I'm sure that this is going to bring up iPhones are going to get stolen because now the passbook is going to have your information right in it. And if you don't have a PIN code to lock your phone.
Oh, but the difference is, though, in this case, though, the tokenized credit card, so it's not your credit card information, it's a tokenized version of your credit card information that can then only be used with your password. So I guess they would have to steal your iPhone and chop off your thumb and get your password. So yes, all around, I think better and would give Apple the opportunity to shake up the potentially. I'll take this with a grain of salt, but I feel like they would have the opportunity to say shake up the payments industry much in the same way that did with the music industry using Apple's awesome embrace and release.
So you already use like a wallet on your phone, right?
I do. Oh, I feel so bad even.
Do you actually use a physical?
That's in the video version. That's my phone, and then I'm one of those guys that does the wallet thing where I keep my credit cards and my ID and everything in my wallet, and that's
so bad.
But you know what it is? It's a sign of humans and convenience, and there's so much we will trade for convenience, and I know I shouldn't do it, but I do, and I know I've learned my lesson having left my phone with my ID and my credit cards in a cab in Las Vegas. But it was awesome because my Nancy Drew girlfriend got it back, and I still haven't learned my lesson. But it's just a case that human nature, convenience, likely wins out over security every time, and hopefully this will help a little bit, but it won't be the end of the massive data breaches because credit cards will probably be with us until the end of time.
Okay.
Shannon, take us to the calendar.
Let's do some calendars, shall we? So tomorrow, September 13th, the DLD Digital Conference begins in Tel Aviv. The conference bill itself is Israel's largest international high-tech gathering. Monday, September 15th is the extended deadline for second round of FCC comments on open internet. So if you haven't lodged your opinion yet, crack open a cold beverage of your choice this weekend and go over to fcc.gov. Or check out the show notes for a link to a consumerist.com article with direct links and a helpful explanation of how to post a useful comment. Netflix 3D printing documentary starts streaming September 26th. I can't wait for that. And Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PS4, Xbox One on November 18th. That's my birthday. What? Gonna get some Grand Theft Auto on. And the PC version will be delayed until 2015.
Oh, man. All right, and it's time for the pick of the day. And you can send your picks to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, which is also, and you can find Tom's favorite picks over at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. I get asked a lot, Shannon, about quadcopters and how to get into drones or things of that nature, and I would just like to shout out that my pick is the Hubsan X4.
Can I just say, of course?
Well, I'm just saying, I love the drones, but there's something awesome about this drone in that it's only $40, and it's one of those kind of like indestructible guys that you can just see. It can even hit that camera, no problem. Anyway, but it's a great way to learn how to get into the drone thing because basically everything that you do on the tiny little $40 guy translates to the bigger stuff, and so it's a great way to get your feet wet, crash it a million times, learn how to fly, and then get the big stuff.
And you can get that off Amazon?
Yeah, you just Google the Hubsan, Hubsan X4.
Yay! I love it! And now it's time for some messages of the day. And of course, if you guys want to send messages, you can send them over to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. The first one is, hey DTNS crew, I wanted to respond to Patrick's comment on Thursday's show about the auto-deleting Facebook posts. He asked the question where, would people want this? And I have the answer. I work as a broadcast meteorologist, whoa, that's cool, and a whole huge issue that we have as an industry has been facing is old weather warnings showing up in people's feed. A lot of people would argue that there are better platforms to push this time-sensitive weather information to, such as Twitter. And while I agree with it, none of the other platforms have the same size of user base as Facebook. An auto-delete feature is something our industry has wanted for a while now. It would be great for severe weather warnings, which typically last less than an hour, or flooding or winter storm warnings, which usually last 6 hours to a day. This feature would allow us to get the information out and then not have to worry about it showing up in someone else's feed 3 days later due to the Eggerank algorithm Facebook uses. Thanks for the great job, you guys. From Shane in Kentucky.
Thank you, Shane. I don't think of news, and I don't.
Is my entire family's on there, so I'm on there all the time, constantly. I hate Facebook notifications.
I can't wait to find out what we will be blessed to see from our friend Len Peralta.
Hey, so I was really intrigued by the roaming robot laser printer that they were using in Japan, and I kind of put the main story and that story together, and this is the real reason your Gmail passwords were leaked. It's because of Dooley, the roaming robot laser printer.
It's so cute.
You remember the Wizard of Fries from Burger King? He kind of looks like that.
Yes.
Someone's yelling, "Dooley!" and Dooley says, "Dooley just wants to be loved." He was just,
as all robots do.
I love it. It's so cute.
So this is available in my online store right now. And if you dig all the speed drawing and other stuff I've been doing, I have a Patreon too. Go to patreon.com/Len.
So good to hear that. I have like a stack, or not even a stack. I have them all up. I can't wait to get into the warehouse and put all of Len's drawings from DTNS.
Oh my gosh! Can we just have like a wall of Len?
A wall of Len, as everyone should have.
Yes, everybody should have a wall of Len.
And we also have an announcement from Jen.
Yes. Hi, it's Jenny, the producer. I just wanted to say, first of all, thanks to you guys today, but I just want to say from me this week, a special thanks to all 4,268 patrons of the Daily Tech News Show. Every week is important for your support, but this was a big one. I'd also like to thank all of our guest hosts, Justin Robert Young, Scott Johnson, Brian Ibbett, Veronica Belmont, Allison Sheridan, Patrick Beja, Jonathan Strickland, Nicole Spagnolo, Shannon Morse, Len Peralta, and of course Darren Kitchen. I'd also like to thank, this is my Academy speech today, I'd also like to thank my husband, the writer, who gave up his laptop every day at 1 p.m. so that I could broadcast on Alpha Geek Radio. That is a big deal. And of course, thanks to all the listeners who sent us such really lovely, kind messages of support during the Great Tom Vacation Experiment. Tom Merritt is someone who always encourages people to just try things out, and I'm very grateful for your patience as I just tried to survive this week. So I guess I'll take us out and tell you that, don't forget, you have a voice in what stories we cover at the Daily Tech News Show. Just go to our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. You can email us at feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Call us at 512-59-DAILY. That's 512-593-2459. You can listen to the show live at mobile.alphageekradio.com and visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. So before we go, did you guys have fun?
Thank you for having us. This was a fun experiment, and thank you to the listeners for making it all the way to the end through our audio.
Yes, thank you everyone for having us on, and of course, I should probably pimp Hack5. You can find us over at hak5.org if you want to check out Hack5's weekly gathering of hackers.
Absolutely. And the final word on the matter is, oh my gosh, Tom will be back on Monday.
Yay!
He will be joined by Patrick Beja, who will give the report on how all this business went. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for all your patience. I don't hear the music, but it seems like it's playing, which is a good thing. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do.
Under the Broadcast Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, That's it.
In the kisser.
Oh, we survived.
Yay! Good job, everyone.
The
Tom
podcast
will
is
be back
sinking.
on
Start
Monday.
boiling water.
Tom will be back on Monday, but he'll only be speaking Italian.
Oh my goodness. It was great, guys. Thank you so much. Len, I'm putting that up again. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wizard of
Dooley,
Fries.
roaming robot laser printer.
Dooley
It's
just
so
wants
cute.
to be loved.
Oh, don't we all really? Don't we all?
Aw.
It is. It's a good lesson as going into the weekend. Everybody just wants to be loved, really.
Absolutely.
Love the
I
weekend,
just-
and the weekend will love you.
Yep.
That's the new U2 song. Yeah.
That everybody got.
Or live by my new rule of life, which is blood, sweat, and tears. Adult points. Redeem them
So
for
you're-
beers.
Your final responsibility as hosts of the show today. By the way, you guys did an amazing job. Thank you so much. It was so much fun to play with video, with audio, and have a lot of fun making all that work and blowing everybody's ears out on Alpha Geek Radio briefly. So your final job is to help me select a title for today. We have a couple. We have the Take Hack 5. We have Photon
What's the URL
Torpedo.
again? What's the
Oh,
URL?
showbot.replex.org.
Yeah.
We have 28 digits between you and your money, which I like.
I'd like that.
I actually love It's Dooley's Fault.
Live from the DTNS Hack Bureau.
Oh, I like that.
That's
Good
cute.
rule.
Let's see what else we've
What is
got.
what is the URL?
Showbot.replex.org.
Org. That's why.
Apple Hash Pay. Apple's Token. And
There's a good token joke in there, but it
there's
hasn't
got
been
to be a
made.
good token joke. I am pretty fond of 28 digits between you and your money.
Yeah.
It has sort of like a country song deal going on, or maybe a little hip hop angle.
Thanks.
I
I
don't
just
know.
did a video blog about that the other day. Not the country song, but the 20
yeah.
digits.
28 digits to money. I think it's a little long, but it's Friday. Everything's a little long on Friday, and we'll just use it because then I can just start publishing the show. So did you guys have fun?
Yes. Thank
that was
you.
so fun.
Yay!
Loved
I
it.
really like your set. That's a good set.
It's pretty versatile. It's amazing how you just toss up the logo on the screens there, and then you're just like, oh, what are you talking about? This has always been the DTNS set.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty great. Len, what's for dinner?
Spaghetti, of course.
Len, one day, I'm just gonna random order a bunch of pizzas to your house. So
Oh,
that you
that
have
would-
Pizza Friday.
The kids would be so happy, believe me.
Yep.
And
That's
so
my
would
plan.
I, because it would be
Well,
less
we'd
for
have
me
to
to
do it
do.
well before the show, because we don't want Len to be prepping pasta.
So it's a finely timed operation.
Yes, it would be. Yeah, well, that would actually be very good. But
All right. So someday,
I will not say no.
the pizzas will happen, courtesy of
I wonder
DTNS.
if, anyway.
When you least
I think I
expect.
may have Len's address from all of my Len Peralta store purchases.
So
Ah.
no, but that just means 18 pizzas are going to show up at a PO box on a Friday.
Well, that'll be great though, because Len will check his mail and it'll be like, why is all this pizza?
What the hell?
I got pizza.
The dog gets very excited about pizza. The dog is also telling me that it's really time to end the
Goodbye,
broadcast
Internet.
portion. Goodbye, Internet. Thank you for reminding me to start this hangout.